This disturbing video was discovered on a Turkish YouTube channel run by a group of extreme adventure enthusiasts. The clip retells a local urban legend that claims a demonic entity roams the slope of a hill at night, guarding sacred relics hidden there. Naturally, after hearing this story, the fearless team decides to head out in person to see whether the legend holds any truth. After reaching the base of the hill, the guys begin their climb, and roughly 13 minutes after recording starts, they manage to capture something genuinely terrifying on camera.
Ahmet sakın şu an her yerde çıkabilir, her an çıkabilir. Bu
Allah merhaba. Merhaba sanda.
bir dakika.
Sanda.
Nerede? Yukarıda. Tamam gördüm. Gördüm bir dakika bak. Gördüm.
Boynuzlara bak. Tamam işte.
Ahmet bu boynuzlu şerşapal bu Ahmet. Boynuzlu şerşapal bak.
Büyük boynuzlu olan.
Burayı koruyan boynuzlu şerşapal bu çok güçlü.
At the top of a rocky ledge, a massive dark figure with glowing eyes and enormous horns appears, silently watching what's happening below. However, instead of immediately running for their lives, the guys start discussing the strange observer and eventually agree that what they're seeing is something undeniably demonic. At that moment, the recording abruptly cuts off, and what happened next remains unknown. Personally, though, this creature oddly reminds me of a mountain goat. This video first appeared on TikTok thanks to a woman named Leah Anderson. What was supposed to be an ordinary trip to a car wash suddenly turned into a real nightmare for her. In the footage from a camera installed inside the car next to her infant, something suddenly appears, something that literally made the mother's heart skip a beat. Afterward, the woman understandably searched every inch of the vehicle, but found nothing that even remotely resembled that terrifying face. Was it a stage setup, a random reflection, a trick of the imagination, or did the video actually capture something truly creepy and disturbing? Let us know what you think. This recording surfaced on one of the popular social media platforms and, honestly, looks like a scene straight out of a horror movie. From the very first seconds, you can see a car engulfed in flames, which is already unsettling on its own. But then things get even stranger. See for yourself. A figure clearly emerges from the fire and begins moving forward as if it feels neither heat nor pain. Most commenters don't claim to know what it is but rather hope that it's just an optical illusion or a visual effect. Still, some people don't rule out the possibility that this could be something paranormal. In one hospital, a surveillance camera captured a moment that is genuinely chilling. A patient standing beside the gurney of a loved one suddenly noticed the bed handle starting to rotate on its own, as if invisible hands were turning it.
¿Ya viste? Hay fantasmas aquí en el hospital. ¿Qué onda?
Could this be interference from the other side? Who knows? It's entirely possible, unless of course it was someone's cruel prank. This video was uploaded by a man named Leandro. He claims that a ghost lives in his house. According to him, shortly after moving in, neighbors told him that a woman once lived there and died under very strange circumstances. And it's possible that her spirit never found peace and continues to wander the house. At first, Leandro treated all of this with skepticism and sarcasm until one night, when he encountered something truly terrifying.
Olha aqui. Olha isso, gente. Olha aqui na cozinha. Meu Deus do céu, o que é isso, velho? Olha esse cara. Cara. Olha isso aqui. O ventilador ligou sozinho. Olha isso. Ai, que isso? Estou com medo.
His shaking hands and premature gray hair at just 30 years old speak for themselves. He saw something so disturbing and realistic that calling it a staged video simply doesn't feel right. It appears that the woman's spirit really does rummage around his kitchen and even climbs into his bed from time to time, creepy as that sounds. This time, the video isn't about ghosts or poltergeists, but it's still extremely strange and unsettling, even though it lasts only a few seconds. The clip went viral on social media, yet what's surprising is that there's absolutely no information about where it came from. Let's take a look. This awkward-looking figure appears highly unnatural, as if it doesn't belong to our world at all. And the longer you stare at it, the more uncomfortable it becomes. I don't know if this is a costume for a kid's event, an AI-generated image, or someone's edit, but I definitely wouldn't want to run into something like this on the street at night. A passenger on a flight was calmly sitting by the window when he suddenly noticed something very strange outside the aircraft. At first glance, it looks like thick clouds of black smoke, but they're far too dense and seem almost alive. At one point, they appear to merge into a single shape and continue hovering there as if nothing unusual happened. Some skeptics try to explain it as exhaust from another plane, but it's clearly not smoke, steam, or a cloud. Other viewers even gave this phenomenon a name. They now call it the sky ghost. The next creepy video was recorded by a man who had been hearing strange noises near his house for several nights in a row. At first, he thought it might be a raccoon or a noisy neighbor. But when it kept happening every single night, he decided to stop ignoring it and grabbed a camera to see what was going on. He looked out the window and saw nothing, so he decided to step outside and check near the front door. And while this could easily be just another prank, since the internet is full of them, seeing something like this at night would be terrifying. So what was it? A crazy neighbor, a horror movie actress, or a real monster? Regardless of the answer, an encounter like that would scare the life out of anyone. In May 2025, around 1 p.m., something was filmed near the headwaters of the Colorado River that reignited debates about the world's most mysterious cryptid. A random eyewitness captured the silhouette of a massive humanoid figure moving through the forest.
It's not moving like a oh my goodness. It's definitely moving. Don't look at the phone, you can see
I'm videotaping right now.
The huge, hairy creature walks onto legs, and its outline suspiciously resembles Bigfoot. The presence of multiple witnesses adds even more credibility to the footage. And the location itself has long been known for strange sightings and mysterious disappearances. But was this a real Bigfoot or just another hoax? I don't have an answer, so feel free to share your theories in the comments. One guy who collects dolls shared a short video clip in which something unexplainable happens. At the beginning of the video, he shows his followers a new doll he recently bought at an antique shop. He emphasizes that the doll is completely ordinary and contains no mechanical or electronic components. Suddenly, while he's talking, he notices a strange movement from another doll sitting on a cabinet behind him, and then things get really weird. As soon as the guy turns away, the doll in his hands turns its head. He doesn't notice it at first, but later, while rewatching the footage, he realizes that something is clearly wrong with the doll. He suggests that a spirit belonging to one of the previous owners might be trapped inside it. That's why he decides to burn the doll, supposedly to free the poor soul. Although I suspect this was just an excuse to get rid of his sister's doll. What do you think? One TikToker shared footage of strange, mysterious creatures. However, most viewers in the comments believe they've solved the mystery. If you look up black tie rants online, you'll find something that looks exactly like what appears in the video. It turns out that these jelly-like blackberries with mouths are actually small black fish. Looks like we finally know the truth. The next video was recorded by an ordinary guy who works part-time as a babysitter and was simply watching a child. Although simply might not be the right word, just wait. He was filming a little girl calmly playing with her toys. Nothing unusual until she suddenly said one sentence that sent chills down his spine.
What you doing over there? Nice. What was it that you told me earlier about your doll? You said it moves? That doll? This doll? You said it moves? Like you move it, or what? When does it move? When you play hide and seek?
She said that when she plays hide and seek with her doll, the doll starts moving like it's alive. Not believing the child, the curious babysitter decided to play hide and seek with the doll himself. And here's what happened.
Oh my god! Sadie, you scared me. Don't do that, dude.
Yes, the dog nearly gave the poor guy a heart attack, but the doll didn't move at all. However, don't rush to skip ahead, because the real horror comes later. When the girl fell asleep, the guy noticed that the dog began growling and staring at the doll without looking away.
I noticed the dog has been staring at the doll. Looking at it. I'm kind of freaked out right now.
This went on for several minutes, and he increasingly felt that something was very wrong. Then, late at night, he heard a loud noise coming from the living room where that same doll was.
Yo.
I have a feeling that was his last day working in that house.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow.
Sol Julio Lopez from the Dominican Republic witnessed something truly disturbing. His security camera recorded a woman in a white nightgown moving quickly across his property at night. This faceless figure with feet turned backward is genuinely horrifying. Many viewers immediately thought of La Saguapa creature from local folklore, a sinister entity said to lure men into the forest, where they then disappear without a trace. The next intriguing video appeared on social media. Where exactly it was filmed is unknown. However, it's clear that the footage came from a motorcyclist's dashcam during a daytime ride. At first, everything looks completely normal until this happens. Let's watch that moment again. In the frame, the motorcyclist overtakes another rider and pulls ahead. But just a second later, he's forced to stop. Turning around, he sees the same motorcycle he had just passed, except there's no one riding it. This bizarre incident sparked numerous wild theories, the main one being that the rider was abducted by aliens while still in motion. Others believe it was a glitch in the Matrix or a transition into another reality, perhaps even behind the scenes of our own. As always, there are plenty of theories, and which one is true is up to you to decide. An extremely disturbing video was uploaded to YouTube in November 2022. According to the description, the events take place in Indonesia. The video's author received a message from a friend who had been hospitalized and asked him to come visit. After work, the guy heads there, but on the way realizes he doesn't know which floor or room his friend is in. So once inside the building, he decides to call him to clarify. And that's when the strangest thing happens. Let's take a look.
Jatuh lah. Aku kau. Sini. Kau kita. Tak. Kau boleh. Aku kat daerah rumah Jaya. Aku ni kau behal. Datang sini. Kau kat mana sekarang? Aku kat bawah blok gini. Memang ada problem lah. Tak apa, kau datang sini lah, cepatlah. Okay.
What this terrifying creature is and where it came from is an interesting question. But in reality, it's obvious from the very first seconds that the video is staged and the entire story is fictional. This video fragment first appeared on YouTube about 2 months ago. Apparently, leaked footage shows modern-day tomb raiders carrying out a raid on a cave in Nazca, Peru. And there, they managed to make one of the most mysterious discoveries imaginable. Let's watch. If this video isn't fake, then the intruders managed to capture what appears to be some kind of non-living alien entity. But what was it doing in the cave, and why was its body blue? That remains a mystery, just like why the footage quality in videos like this is always so terrible.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. One guy decided to go check out an abandoned building. And not just any building, but the one located literally a few steps away from his house. The place looked, to put it mildly, extremely unsettling, but what he managed to capture on camera almost gave him a heart attack. In the footage, you can clearly see how a face suddenly appears right under the roof. And it's not just a human face. It's a genuinely horrifying one, like something straight out of a low-budget horror movie. The guy was obviously in total shock and, without thinking twice, bolted out of there as fast as he could. And considering that no one has seen any new videos from him since, it's safe to assume this experience stuck with him for a long time. On March 17, 2025, a video surfaced online that instantly blew up across social media. According to the description, these leaked clips were supposedly recorded by government surveillance cameras, and judging by the footage, it appears to show a real-life Bigfoot. Let's take a closer look. The video quality is, frankly, terrible. But even if you ignore the blurry image, one thing is clear: there's a bipedal creature in the frame that strongly resembles a humanoid beast. These black and white clips spread across the internet in no time. Millions of views, hundreds of thousands of comments, and as always, opinions were split. Some people are convinced this is solid proof of cryptids being real. Others believe it's just another example of the deepfake era, where imagination and fabricated footage are increasingly passed off as real leaks. So what do you think? Share your theories in the comments below. The main faces of a popular YouTube channel, Pete, Debbie, and Parlor, got themselves involved in a truly sketchy occult situation. The ritual required Debbie to climb into a cramped closet completely alone and stay there with a lit match. At this point alone, it already sounds like a bad idea. At first, everything went smoothly. Debbie was inside. The door was closed, the camera was rolling, and Parlor kept talking to her, offering verbal support. But the moment the match went out, something happened that absolutely no one expected. Let's take a look.
Te lo giuro, ho sentito...
Tu ti rendi conto che io non sento niente di qua?
Senti?
No, ora lo sento forse.
Paolo, sta grattando.
Ok. Hai sempre il fiammifero acceso, vero?
Sto continuando ad accenderne, durano pochissimo.
Cosa? 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 Accendilo, riaccendilo.
Prego, apri! Prego, apri! Ti prego, apri! Ti prego, apri! Mi ha toccato qualcosa!
Devi accendere la luce, devi accendere la luce. Tu, faccia la...
Yes, you're seeing that right. A hand actually appears in the frame. Feeling it touch her shoulder, Debbie got so terrified that she practically launched herself out of the closet. So what was it? Real contact with something paranormal, or a carefully staged setup? Either way, it looks incredibly creepy and, judging by Debbie's reaction, disturbingly convincing. An abandoned building, an old psychiatric hospital, and nerves of steel, a classic combination. This video was filmed by a group of guys who made a bet to sneak into an abandoned mental institution, just to see what was left there and, of course, to test their nerves. And as you probably guessed, they succeeded.
It's one of them they tore out. Getting some weird feedback on camera here. See that?
At first glance, it looks like an old woman, but the way she moves is so unnatural that it's genuinely disturbing. It feels like her body is twitching uncontrollably, and her movements look straight out of a horror movie. After seeing this, the guys didn't try to play heroes and immediately ran out of the building, barely watching where they were going. And honestly, that was the right call, because to this day, no one can explain what exactly was wrong with her. This video was recorded in Chile, right at a construction site. Judging by the footage, the person filming works the night shift there, possibly as a security guard. He claims that strange things have been happening more and more often, and that to understand what's going on, you have to listen closely and pay attention to every detail.
Hay luz allá al fondo acá. Aquí hay otro pasillo también con luz e iluminación aquí. Hay algunos que están oscuros. Y bueno, ahí aprovechamos de seguir avanzando. Para allá sería donde vamos a ir ahora en este momento. Así que nos vamos con harto ojo.
At first, he thinks he sees someone standing in a hallway. He goes to check, but the corridor is completely empty. The man admits that at that moment, he felt an intense wave of cold wash over him, but he continued his patrol anyway. Just not for long.
¿Qué anda ahí? ¿Quién anda ahí?
At this point, the guard completely loses it and bolts out of the building at full speed. And for good reason. The voice was so clear and distinct that even I got chills down my spine. Here's another disturbing video. It was posted on TikTok by a young mother named Kelsey Miller. That day, She, her husband, and a family friend went out shopping for household supplies. And while they were in a parking lot, something strange happened to their young daughter. It looks as if an invisible force pushes the child to the ground, and with enough force that it clearly wasn't an accident. The next day, the mother asked her daughter what had happened, and the girl calmly replied that it was a ghost man. She said he came up, pushed her, and then walked away. Creepy, right? At least now the mom stays alert and seems ready to throw hands with any ghost that comes near her kid. This video has a surprisingly emotional backstory. The creator recently lost his cat, but he felt like the pet was still around, especially near its favorite play area. So he decided to set up a camera, just to see if he was imagining things, and here's what it recorded. First, a toy shark moves, then a ball rolls. But the strangest part comes next. Something appears that looks very much like the outline of a cat. It's almost transparent, but the owner is convinced it's his late pet. After posting the video online, he left a lot of viewers genuinely stunned. Some believe it's a real ghost cat, while others say it's just a staged video made for views. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. One man heard some strange noises in his backyard late at night. He was scared, but curiosity got the better of him. He grabbed a camera and went outside to see what was going on. And this is where things get truly terrifying. Watch closely. After this creature suddenly emerges from a nearby tree, the recording abruptly cuts out. The camera shuts off, and what happened next remains unknown. So now it's up to you to decide what it was, a prank, CGI, or something far darker. As always, we're counting on your opinions. This short clip has been circulating across social media for quite some time now, including YouTube. Several people witnessed something unexplainable on the streets of their city at night. They spotted a dark, hunched figure standing on the roof of a building. An angry crowd, shouting which, tries to reach it and take matters into their own hands. However, that turns out to be easier said than done. It seems the figure is trapped and has nowhere to go. But did anyone actually reach it? Unfortunately, we'll never know. Just like we'll never know whether it was truly a witch or simply a case of mob hysteria targeting an innocent person. Another YouTube explorer, along with his team, returns to a location they had visited before. This time, they plan to investigate the abandoned building more thoroughly. Following the usual horror movie rules, they arrived late at night, bringing along some questionable equipment. Almost immediately, one of their devices detects a strange signal.
Ela saiu daí. Saiu daqui, ó. Ó, chegou a tela vermelha. Pode se aproximar? Mas tá dando pico forte, ó. Se aproxima daqui.
Very soon, it becomes clear why, and this time, leaving without consequences won't be an option.
Ai! Foi isso, eu vi! Foi isso! Oh!
One of the guys enters a room, but finds nothing inside. After checking the space, they suddenly hear a loud bang coming from above.
Tá vendo aquilo? Meu Deus do céu! Tá repreendido! Vamos embora! Nossa senhora, olha aí, Thiago!
Whatever it was, one thing is certain, they definitely found the adventure they were looking for. Many people have stories about strange neighbors, and this next case is no exception. One evening, a woman was walking through her neighborhood when she noticed something odd in her neighbor's window. She pulled out her phone and decided to record what was happening. Let's take a look.
I'm going for a walk and I look up and I see my neighbors.
As she walked by, a flickering light inside the house caught her attention. She stopped and looked inside, seeing several people sitting around a table, but the creepiest part came next. The moment the light stopped flickering, everyone at the table suddenly turned their heads and stared directly at the camera. The video abruptly cuts off and became the last post on the woman's TikTok account. Viewers were terrified, and many still wonder what happened to her. Do you think they were deranged cult members, or was it all an elaborate setup? Let us know what you think in the comments. This recording was captured by a doorbell camera and shows something truly bizarre. The home's security system suddenly triggered an intrusion alert. But what was truly frightening was what actually entered the property. An unnatural mass of glowing particles appears in front of the door, swirling chaotically and constantly changing shape. The homeowner admits that when she bought the old mansion, she had a strange feeling about the place, even though nothing unusual had happened before. Skeptics suggest it could be insects or even cobwebs. But if that were the case, why did the security system activate? So what was it really? The next video was filmed in Antarctica, where a researcher stumbled upon something extremely strange frozen inside the ice.
So let's see what it is. Oh, there is another air balloon. What? What the heck? Ah! This is a monster head!
After clearing away some snow, the man is shocked by what he finds and begins screaming. He's convinced it's a humanoid creature.
Eyes! Guys! Oh. That's a monster head! Look, that is his
As
eye.
usual, the comments section exploded with debate. Some agree with him and also see the outline of a frozen monster's head. Others claim the location isn't Antarctica at all, and some point out that the acting in the video is way over the top. There's also a theory that it could be a marine animal, like a squid. But one thing is clear, this wasn't filmed without staging. Otherwise, how would he know exactly where to clear the ice, especially in Antarctica? A strange and terrifying incident happened to a security guard working the night shift at the entrance of a residential complex. Let's take a look. As you can see, a car approaches the gate with no driver inside. There are no passengers either. The vehicle flashes its headlights as if asking to be let in. The guard, clearly shaken, steps out of his booth to investigate. That's when he notices a figure crawling onto the roof of the car. Judging by his reaction, whatever he saw was anything but harmless. And if this was a prank meant to scare him, it definitely worked 100%. A mysterious video rapidly gaining traction on TikTok has left viewers stunned. A group of friends in Italy were walking through the city at night when they noticed a strange object hovering in the sky. One of them joked that it was probably just a flying haystack, but that didn't make the situation any less unsettling. After all, none of them could come up with a logical explanation for what they were seeing. Do you know what kinds of surprises can be hidden inside hotel rooms? One TikToker shared footage showing a strange hole in the floor of his entryway, concealed beneath a square hatch.
What? Smuggling something? What is this?
If that's not creepy enough, take a look at where it leads. At first, I thought it was just an entrance to a basement. Until I saw this. So what is it? A demon's lair? Or just clever editing? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Another recent post on a popular social platform caused just as much buzz among fans of paranormal content. According to the caption, the incident occurred near the Westgate Casino Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, while the creator was walking nearby late at night. Let's watch. This short clip sparked countless theories. Some suggested it was yet another boring Elon Musk project involving underground development. However, most viewers were disturbed by how close to the surface everything seemed to be happening. So maybe it wasn't a technical structure at all, but a massive underground worm. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. On the next disturbing clip filmed in Colombia, a girl named Sarah was calmly spending time in her bathroom when she was suddenly pierced by a wild, inhuman scream. Sarah decided to figure out what was going on and soon found out that total chaos was unfolding in the neighboring apartment. As she was told, her neighbor and a group of friends had decided to experiment with the Ouija board. At some point, One of the girls seemingly lost her mind and began attacking the others. By that time, the police had already been called to calm her down and try to get the situation under control. Without thinking twice, Sarah turns on her smartphone camera and starts recording. Horrifying screams can be heard through the wall, straight out of a possession movie. Outside, real chaos breaks out. People come out of their homes, completely confused about what's happening, while the cops are still on their way. The video has already racked up millions of views, and even though the apartment owner herself was never shown, her blood-curdling screams and the reactions of the people around definitely don't look staged. All in all, it really feels like the neighbor summoned something, but as always, draw your own conclusions. This video was filmed by a security guard working the night shift in an office building. He and his co-workers had already encountered strange and unexplained things in the hallways of this place more than once, and every time something started happening, they immediately tried to capture it on camera. And on one of those nights, something like that happened again.
Lo ideal en estos casos, gente, es no demostrar miedo. Eso es lo mejor, o sea, lo mejor que podemos hacer es no demostrar miedo. Porque si demostramos... No tengan miedo. No tengan miedo. No tengan miedo. ¿Quién está ahí?
The man says that at first he heard a voice. The sound was coming from the area where the elevators were located. He rushed over to check it out, but found absolutely nothing suspicious. However, if you look more closely at the footage, you can notice a strange piece of fabric or some kind of appendage that appears to be waving at him, as if trying to get his attention. The guard is convinced that he encountered something paranormal, and if no one was pranking him, then he's probably right. Recently, a disturbing video surfaced on social media showing a cyclist riding along a remote mountain trail. Suddenly, he notices a small cave, and that's when things get really creepy.
That was a bone I just broke. Bro, is that my fork? What? Hello?
No.
Why is that?
No.
Hello?
A barely audible voice seems to be asking for help, as if someone is trapped inside. Clearly shaken, the cyclist backs away, not fully understanding what he just heard. To avoid getting too close, he decides to throw a stick toward the entrance of the cave.
Bro, I don't care about my bike. Hello? Is anybody there? I don't know, dude. Am I just hearing things? Hello? What the Yep, nope, I'm good.
And then something strange happens. Someone or something throws the stick back at him. After that, the video abruptly cuts off, leaving viewers confused and full of questions. In the comments, people immediately started coming up with different theories. Many believe it was a skinwalker, which, as you know, is said to be able to mimic human voices, and that the plea for help was a trap. So what do you think? Who or what could have been hiding in that ominous little cave? Share your theories in the comments. The homeowners installed a security camera purely to keep an eye out, in case of a possible break-in. You know, just in case something happened, and it looks like someone actually did make their way inside. And this was definitely not a human. The footage shows a skinny creature with unnatural body proportions, a terrifying face, and glowing eyes. Just imagine this. You casually open the archive of recorded footage, and there's a nightmare like that waiting for you. This disturbing video shows us a frightening story that happened to one workaholic woman who stayed late at the office. She was quietly working at her computer when suddenly the power went out and everything was plunged into complete darkness. But even that was nothing compared to what was waiting for her just a few minutes later.
Right, guys, as you just saw, all the lights have just turned off. Sanjay! I don't know where the PM's gone. Hello? Hello? Hello?
When the lights went out, the woman thought it was some kind of cruel prank, but she never expected to see this horrifying pale man standing right in front of her, with empty, black eye sockets. His stare was so piercing and sinister that you could lose consciousness just from looking at him. It's unknown whether the woman managed to escape in the end, or who that figure really was. But here's my advice to you: never stay late at work. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. One man began hearing strange, creepy sounds around his house. Curious about what was happening outside, he steps out onto his balcony with a camera in hand, and here's what awaited him. The footage clearly shows how, right next to him, a terrifying face suddenly appears, distorted and mangled, enough to make your skin crawl. The guy panics, and the recording immediately cuts off. So what was it? A prank, a setup, a shot from an Asian horror movie, or a real-life zombie? A YouTuber named Donnie, along with his wife, decided to hold an intense spirit summoning session using a Ouija board in some abandoned house. They wanted, so to speak, to talk to a spirit that supposedly haunted the place. But as soon as the ritual began, things instantly went off the rails. They heard noises, as if someone or something was coming down from upstairs, and moments later, they noticed a strange figure dressed in black. The couple turned out to be pretty fearless and decided to find out who, or what it actually was, heading off in search of it. Soon they heard a voice coming from one of the rooms. Donnie didn't hesitate and rushed straight in. Inside, they found a massive wardrobe, and opening it turned out to be their biggest mistake.
Scared.
What the hell? What is happening? Oh no, Bud's in there and the candles are still on. What the hell is that in there? What the hell? What the hell?
Inside was the very thing that had terrified them. This moment will definitely stay with them for a long time, and maybe they'll finally realize that wandering through abandoned places at night and summoning spirits isn't such a great idea. This seemingly harmless video from a popular social network isn't actually that harmless at all. Let's take a closer look. Did you notice how the head of the Chucky doll appears to move on its own? Pay attention to the boy. He clearly notices something, and judging by his face, he's just as shocked as you are. Of course, it's hard to say whether that creepy doll really moved or if it was just a coincidence. But one thing is certain, parents should definitely keep a close eye on this unsettling toy. And here's another living doll story. A mom was filming her son while he was playing near the TV, completely unaware of what her child might encounter. It looks like the boy also noticed the toy's hand move, and it scared him so badly but he immediately grabbed it and threw it aside without hesitation. What's interesting is that the mother, standing right there, didn't notice anything at all. She only realized something was wrong the next day when she rewatched the footage. What do you think about this? If you have any theories, be sure to share them in the comments. A creepy story is gaining traction on TikTok, posted by a man named Jesus Gomboa. He's a truck driver who regularly runs night routes across Mexico. One late evening, he stopped to take a break and decided to inspect his truck. But during the inspection, he suddenly heard some strange sounds nearby. Jesus pulled out his phone and started recording, and what he captured is truly unsettling. At first glance, it's not even clear what's happening, but if you look closely, you can see something flickering near the front wheels of the truck. The stop was in the middle of nowhere, and at that hour there definitely shouldn't have been any children around. The driver was completely shaken and admits that moments like these are exactly why he hates working night shifts. A group of explorers from a popular YouTube channel decided to find out what was hidden inside a mysterious steel pipe sticking out of the ground in the middle of a forest. They came up with the idea of lowering a GoPro camera inside. Let's see what they managed to capture. As they lowered the camera, no one could have imagined that on the other side there would be a dark, damp space, possibly even a tunnel. But the scariest part was the sounds they heard down there. Armchair experts believe it clearly sounded like growling or heavy breathing. What do you think it was? An underground monster or just a draft? Let us know your opinion. Colombia, late evening, a man stepped outside to smoke before going to bed. But what he noticed and recorded at the end of the street kept him from sleeping for a long time. Watch closely. Many commenters believe the footage shows a ghost floating above the road. Personally, it looks more like a creature dressed in white, walking on extremely long, thin legs, almost like sticks, something resembling a Colombian stick insect. Still, it's also possible that it's just a person in a robe moving around on stilts. The next recording was captured by an outdoor security camera. According to many viewers, the footage shows a ghostly rider, possibly even from an ancient era, along with his loyal horse. Now, the fact that something is riding there is undeniable. But why did everyone decide it's specifically a rider on a horse? Where exactly do you see that? Let us know if you also clearly see a rider. This short clip was filmed in July 2024 by a young man in the under-construction city of Nusantara. While exploring the surroundings of the new city and entering some government buildings, the author managed to capture something strange and unsettling. In one abandoned room, he noticed a female head with long black hair covering most of her face. Suddenly, it turned toward him, and the guy nearly dropped his camera before stopping the recording. In the footage, only the head is visible, nothing else. He suggested that it could have been a kuyong, a figure from Indonesian folklore, a terrifying female spirit whose internal organs hang down instead of a normal body. Needless to say, the sight is disturbing. Whether it's really a kuyong or not is up to you, but either way, it looks absolutely terrifying. A girl named Rosanna moved into a new apartment in France, but after just a few days, she deeply regretted it. An unexplained sense of anxiety began to grow inside her like a snowball. And then one day, while she was simply eating yogurt, something strange happened. Watch closely. After that incident, Rosanna moved out and went to stay with relatives, never returning to the apartment again. When asked about the sounds she heard coming from the fireplace and the red liquid that ended up splattered everywhere, she couldn't give a clear answer. YouTuber Sonovator, known for documenting strange encounters in the Canadian wilderness, shared an intriguing video with his audience. According to him, early in the morning on May 30th, 2024, a truck driver was supposed to pick up industrial equipment from a site located in a forested area of Alberta, Canada. That's when he managed to capture something large and terrifying among the trees. At first, the driver didn't notice the creature, but after stepping out of the vehicle and seeing it, he panicked and jumped back into the cab. In the end, he managed to drive away unharmed. Based on the footage, the creature's height is estimated to be around 10 to 13 feet, and all the workers are convinced that it's the legendary Bigfoot. The company stated that after the incident, they installed cameras all around the site, and if the creature appears again, they will definitely release new footage to the public. Well, now we wait. And this vacation is something this couple will remember for the rest of their lives. An archived video was found on YouTube and dates all the way back to 2009. The events took place on a beach in Northumberland, England. The couple was looking for a place to settle in and checking out different spots, but during the recording, something bizarre appeared in the frame.
Come on, from the car. Jesus, que é isso?
Vai! Vai!
A black shadowy figure emerges from the bushes in broad daylight and scares them. In the comments, most viewers believe it's staged and that the so-called shadow person is nothing more than primitive CGI. That's probably the case, but what do you think? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow.